Hey guys, it's Greg. Sorry this video is a little bit late. In order to get something out for you guys, I ventured forth into the events today, which was Corson. That was the realistic battles event today, which pits the Germans against the Russians. And these few clips are my first matches with the 109 as of patch 1.37. The replay bug is still around. I can't get the type of footage that I really want for the tech overview, so I'm not doing this live, but this is all, what I'm saying right now was recorded over what was already done, if that makes any sense, blah blah blah, ramble. Let's get to the point. So what's the big deal about 1.37 and the 109s? Well, that's interesting because, in 1.37, they adjusted the compressibility for, the rudder on planes across the board. And that's not really, that's a significant change to the German fighting style with the 109s. And you're about to see the problem it presents in a moment. Two things have happened with 1.37 in terms of the German versus Russian matchup. More people are flying the Vochkins, LA-5s, LA-7s, and Focke-Wulfs. Hardly anyone is flying the 109s, or at least not as many as they used to anymore. And it's evident that I think the reasoning behind that is pretty obvious. When they adjusted the compressibility for the rudder on the 109, they pretty much, and this is coming from someone who's been flying Germans, like German planes pretty much the whole time playing this game. They're my most flown faction by far. Basically what it did is that it took away much of the super crazy versatility that the 109 originally had. Because what would happen in a Russian versus German matchup usually? The Germans, who were usually flying 109s, and they had really, really good climb rates. The 109s still have really good climb rates. They would go to the center of the map, and they'd be like up in the stratosphere. And the Russians, if they weren't thinking entirely straight, would end up flying to the center of the map as well, in a straight line, like the Germans, except the Russian fighters, their climb rate wasn't as good as the 109s. So what would usually happen is that the Germans would, both of these factions would get to the center of the map, the Germans would be really high up, the Russians would be low and slow, and what would happen is that the 109s would just boom and zoom and obliterate the Russian team within a matter of minutes. And now, that's not as easy to do with the 109 because of the rudder compressibility. You can't just fully on boom and zoom as easily as you used to do, because it's more difficult to get a proper shot at high speed. So a lot of people are starting to fly the Focke-Wulf in place of the 109, predictably, because that's what the Focke-Wulf is. That's what it's better at than the 109. It's a better boom and zoomer than the 109 because it's easier to control at high speed and it's more stable at high speed. And I'm not going to go into detail about everything they did with the 109 because that would just that's a discussion for another time. But along with the use of the Focke-Wulf came another type of plane. The Russians are starting to fly, the Russian pilots are starting to fly a lot more, the LA-5. And that thing is comparable to the Focke-Wulf in many ways. It's a very, very good boom and zoom plane. And the arrival of a plane that can actually compete with Germans in terms of, like, you know, high-speed climbing and diving, actually, sadly enough, came as a surprise to me. it's some, you know, people who aren't, like, total crazy German fanboys like myself are gonna listen to me say this and go, oh, well, of course. But the first things that came into my head when I got shot down flying the Germans for the first time as of patch 1.37 was, wow, I actually have to try now. But the Germans are still good. It's just that the Russians, it seems like, are more competitive, and that's good. That's good.
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win.
And I don't know the incredibly specific details about how these planes performed in real life. It's difficult to find that exact information. For one plane, it's another to find it for, you know, every single plane in the game. So I give people who are putting together flight models a little bit more leeway in that sense. And I get shot down. I was getting shot down, like in these clips here, quite often at low altitude by the Russians. And again, that came as a surprise to me. It's just like, oh great, now I have to actually, like, you know, energy fight instead of just boom and zoom. What the 109 do well in. But, so that's that. German versus Russia. I would say things are a little bit more competitive now. The Russian pilots seem to be well aware of the capabilities of the LA-5 and how it's comparable to the very good Focke-Wulf. The Focke-Wulf is still a very good plane. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's just that the 109 can't seal club as effectively as it used to, it seems. What happens here is kind of funny. I saw like that piece of metal fly off of the PE2, and I broke off of him when he was starting to gain speed on, or gain distance on me, thinking, okay, you know, I can't catch up with him. And I just keep looking back, and I'm like, is he gonna crash? Is he gonna crash? Did I shoot down his elevator? Oh, well, we'll never know. Oh, hey! Just some funny stuff. And in this particular engagement, what I did, without much options, I figured, okay, I'm at high altitude, I'm in my native environment, I'll try to get into an energy fight with this guy. And I tried to avoid a head-on with the, you know, because the Yak 9K, for crying out loud, and I really screw it up. I fly way too far out, and I make myself a big fat target, and I just get shot full of holes. What follows, though, is quite amusing, because I look over and one of my teammates in the match gets into a dogfight with him. The Yak kind of leaves me alone. I figured, okay, I'll just glide back to the base. I do manage to glide back to the base. Surprisingly enough, I'm lucky I just didn't get, you know, freaking blown out of the sky there by that 485. Here I am, gliding back home safely. And the only reason I'm keeping these clips here is because I want to show that it's still quite possible for the Germans to do well against the Russians. Make a landing. Would you look at that? There goes the Yak-9. And that was their last aircraft.
Well done.
And I made a friend here, actually. And in this match, the guy who managed to shoot down the Focke-Wulf. So that was good too. But basically, what's the point in this video? Well, as you can see here, I mean, we managed to win a match against the Russians when we were outnumbered by, you know, by 2 planes, whatever. But still, we still managed to win. Now, it wasn't like a seal clubbing compared to what some German pilots are used to, myself included. It wasn't a seal clubbing where we just obliterated everybody within a span of a couple of minutes. But it's still possible. So if you're a German pilot and you're a little bit frustrated with 1.37, I get you. I was the same way initially. But whether or not the 109 is historically accurate as of now, it's still doable, so don't despair. I'll have a video for you guys coming Monday. Thanks for watching.